The next morning, Clara woke early. The sea fog was thick and heavy, clinging to the glass of her bedroom window like a breath held too long. She sat up, her mind turning the letter over again and again. There was something under the words. A deeper truth that Alan had never spoken aloud. She had questions, too many. And no one left to answer them. But Clara had never been one to let mystery sit untouched. Especially not when her name was written in the middle of it. After coffee, she returned to the attic. This time, she brought a box of tools. The toolbox had sat untouched since Alan's passing, and it felt strange prying it open. She knew every drawer, every slot for screwdrivers and chisels. But today, she looked differently. She emptied it carefully. At the bottom, beneath a false panel she'd never noticed before, was a folded canvas. It was stained and creased, and smelled faintly of salt. She unrolled it on the attic floor. A map. Drawn in ink and charcoal, faded but legible. The coastline was familiar, her own town, marked with older names. But what caught her attention was the section labeled the Vale in looping script, circled in red. Near it, another mark, below the light with an arrow pointing inland. Beneath the map, another note, Clara, if you're reading this, then I failed to bring it to light. I'm sorry. There were things I couldn't say. I wanted to keep you safe. But I should have known better. Look beneath the floorboards. Trust your instinct. Love, Alan, ***. Clara pressed her hand against the map. Alan had known. All this time, he had known. And hidden it not to deceive her, but to protect her. The floorboards. She found them that afternoon. Beneath the guest room rug, a loose slat she'd never thought to inspect. With care, she pried it open and reached into the darkness. Her fingers brushed metal. A small tin box. Inside, a compass, a key, and a torn photograph. The photo showed Alan, much younger, standing beside a man she didn't recognize. The man wore a green coat. Her stomach turned. On the back of the photo, Alan had written, "If he finds you first, run." Clara didn't run. Not yet. She spent the next day visiting the Historical Society. The building was musty, the volunteers cheerful and curious. Looking for anything specific? One asked. Maps. Records about the lighthouse. Anything on a place called the Vale. The woman led her to a back room filled with archival boxes. Hours passed. Clara sifted through brittle paper, fading ink, and forgotten names. Then she found it, an article dated 1973. Local man missing after Vale excursion. The photo was grainy. The man beside Alan. Her pulse pounded. The article mentioned strange lights. Theories of hidden tunnels beneath the lighthouse. Rumors of wartime smuggling. She photocopied it and drove home in silence. That night, she placed the compass, key, photo, and letter in a shoebox. She labeled it simply, Answers. The next morning, she returned to the lighthouse. This time, she was prepared. The chain on the gate was rusted, and the key from Alan's box fit. Inside, the air was thick with mildew and dust. The staircase creaked. Pigeons scattered at her presence. The beam chamber was empty, save for a metal grate in the floor. She used the compass. The arrow trembled. Pulled slightly east. She tapped around the grate until she found a hidden latch. The grate lifted with effort. Beneath it, a ladder. And below that, darkness. Clara hesitated. Then descended. The shaft opened into a narrow corridor. Stone walls. Damp air. She moved slowly, flashlight in one hand, compass in the other. The passage led to a sealed door. Another keyhole. The key turned. Inside, a chamber lined with shelves. Books. Maps. Journals. Artifacts. Dust covered and waiting. And in the center, on a pedestal, a small wooden box. She opened it. A ring. Not Alan's. Older. Inscribed with symbols she didn't know. And a letter. To the one who followed the light, you have entered the heart of it. There is more to see. But beware, not all who seek the truth are your allies. Some wish it buried. Protect what you find. Trust what you remember. The next piece lies where water runs backward. Clara stood in the chamber, the letter in her hand, the weight of years pressing down. Adventure. Danger. The possibility that her husband had died with a secret too large to hold. She did not cry. She smiled. Because the light was not gone. It had only gone deeper.